What's up everybody? Darling Learning here, and today we're going to talk about one of the most difficult topic of learning Japanese, which is the different usage of a particle, ga, and how you can use them perfectly. Let's get started. Welcome to another video about Japanese on this channel. It's been a while since I made the last video, and that is because I have been thinking about this specific problem of learning Japanese and trying to figure out how I could explain to you guys. If you have been studying Japanese for a bit, I'm sure you have faced this problem, and it's so difficult concept to understand. I will do my best to explain so you guys can use it properly. So in Japanese, we use around 188 particles, which are short and small words that indicates relations between words within the sentence. They are not exactly so-called prepositions in English, but some of them can be. Let me name all of them right now. Wa, ka, ga, ni, no. Yada, ze, zo. Whew, that was long. Please speed that part up, future editing me. Anyway, now that you saw all 188 particles, do you have to remember all of them? No, in fact, I can't name most of it out of my head right now, and I was even shocked to know that we have that many particles. As you might have realized, a lot of particles are duplicate but meaning slightly different. So you won't exactly have to remember new 188 words. Maybe it's a good idea to make videos explaining each particles from meaning to the usage. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. So ga is one of the most often used particle in Japanese, and that is because ga particle has a lot of meanings and usages. So most common but confusing way of using ga is indication of a subject of a sentence. And if you have studied Japanese for a bit, you might say, yeah, I know, but we already have wa for that. Why do we need them? And you are 100% correct, and this is why it's confusing. You have probably learned what particle first, and later ga shows up and then you are like,
no, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
so what are the differences and how can you use them properly? In short, switching wa particle with ga particle or ga particle with wa particle will let you transform the general form to the emphasized form, and it also lets you give your emphasis and focus to the word before the particle. For example, when we want to say Mr. Suzuki is a boxer, we say Suzuki-san wa boxer da. Suzuki-san wa boxer da. This sentence is a general form with wa. Let's switch wa particle with ga particle and see what will happen. Suzuki-san ga boxer da. Suzuki-san ga boxer da. This means Mr. Suzuki is the one who is a boxer. By switching wa particle with ga particle, it sounds like either I'm answering a question or I'm saying Mr. Suzuki is a boxer but others are not. See, the emphasis on each sentence is different from another. By switching wa particle with ga particle, we just transform the general form with wa to the emphasized form with ga. Why do I keep saying general form with wa or emphasized form with ga? This is because some words take ga as a general form and wa as an emphasized form. For example, these sentences. Mr. Suzuki is good at boxing. Suzuki-sanはボクシングが上手ですね。Or, I like basketball. 私はバスケが好きです。In those specific ways, ga takes the general form. If we switch with wa particle, we exclude other things from the word before the particle. For example, if you said, 鈴木さんはボクシングは上手ですね。Suzuki-san wa boxing wa jouzu desu ne. This means Mr. Suzuki is good at boxing but nothing else. Ouch! That's offensive, isn't it? Or if you say, 私はバスケは好きです。バスケは好きです。That means you like basketball but not other things. We can use this to show contrast between two things. For example, I like basketball but not soccer. 私はバスケは好きだけど、サッカーは好きじゃないです。私はバスケは好きだけど、サッカーは好きじゃないです。Also, when we describe person with adjective, we tend to use this form as well. For example, Mr. Suzuki is good at boxing, or Mr. Suzuki is tall. 鈴木さんは背が高いです。鈴木さんは背が高いです。 So, as we have discussed so far, you might want to make sure how to distinguish wa particle and ga particle because you might be complimenting someone, but he or she might get offended. Another specific occasion you have to change wa particle with ga particle is when you are describing noun using modifying clauses. For example, when we want to say, I like the music he made, we say, 私は彼が作った音楽が好きです。私は彼が作った音楽が好きです。This seems confusing. You might ask yourself, how do I put it together? We can break it up and make it simple. 1. We take the base sentence. I like music. 私は音楽が好きです。2. The clause. He made. 彼は作った。彼は作った。3. We simply put the clause in front of noun it is modifying. But before that, you have to change wa with ga particle. And here it goes. 私は彼が作った音楽が好きです。私は彼が作った音楽が好きです。Now we know how to make the sentence, but why do we have to change it to ga particle? We use ga particle in modifying clauses because we want to specify what kind of music I like to listen and exclude other music that other people made. Other example will be, the thing I want to say is blah blah blah. 私が言いたいことは blah 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 です。私が言いたいことは blah 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 です。Or, I use all the money my husband made. 私は夫が稼いだお金を全部使いました。私は夫が稼いだお金をすべて使いました。So, between wa and ga, we have two cases. One, transforming general form to the emphasized form from wa to ga, or ga to wa. 2. Modifying clauses always take ga. Speaking of general form and emphasized form, you will see this in other particles as well. For example, wo particle and wa particle and transitive verb. We're not gonna go deep about what are transitive verbs and what are intransitive verbs, but transitive verbs require object in front of verb. For example, I opened the door. 私はドアを開けた。私はドアを開けた。Intransitive verb using wa particle is the general form, and we can change it to emphasized form by switching it to wa particle. 私はドアは開けた。私はドアは開けた。I opened the door but nothing else. In intransitive verb, ga takes the general form, and we can change it to emphasized form by switching it to wa particle. The door opened. ドアが開いた。ドアが開いた。We can change ga with wa, and it goes ドアは開いた。ドアは開いた。The door opened, but nothing else opened. So this is also general form to the emphasized form. Now let's move on to the next occasion that we see ga particle in the sentence. And the last two are pretty simple and easy to understand. The second one on the list is the question. For example, who opened the door? 誰がドアを開けたの？誰がドアを開けたの？Of course, we answer this using emphasized form. For example, Tom is the one who opened the door. トムがドアを開けたよ。トムがドアを開けたよ。This is just a question using emphasized form, so it's not too hard, right? The last one is the easiest one to understand, which is ga particle as conjunctions like but or however. For example, 私は昨日会社に行きましたが、誰もいませんでした。私は昨日会社に行きましたが、誰もいませんでした。I went to the office yesterday, but nobody was there. This is simple too, right? It works just like English. This video might be a bit long, but it is really important to understand ga particle, especially important to distinguish between wa particle and ga particle, because you might accidentally offend someone even though you are trying to compliment someone. If I'm missing any other cases that ga shows up in the sentence, please let me know in the comment because I might be just missing. Alright, that's it guys. I hope this will help you using ga particle properly. Question of the day. You are going to have to answer in the comment to the following question in Japanese. あなたの一番苦手な助詞は何ですか？あなたの一番苦手な助詞は何ですか？ What is your weakest particle that you don't understand? Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that like and bell button so you get notified when I upload a new video like this. Let me know if you guys have any question in the comment section below. See ya!